여러분, 안녕하세요. 어서 오세요. 내 이름은 티파니입니다. I just wanted to give a little disclaimer. Eventually, I am going to get on an upload schedule, but I didn't want to lose this momentum I had in making a secondary episode. So today we are going to learn the Hangul alphabet. I don't know how many of you have noticed, but Hangul was designed in shape to mimic the way your mouth will move when you pronounce the letter or the word. So there are 5 different categories. You have velar, which means your tongue is kind of dropped to the back of your throat and your throat is closed slightly. Alveolar, which means your throat is slightly open and your tongue is at the top of your mouth. You have dental, which means the sound comes between your teeth. Bilabial, which means you have to use both of your lips to make the sound, labia meaning lip. And then you have your glottal, which usually indicates mouth open and a kind of airy sound coming out of the back of your throat. In the Korean language, we have 24 letters. There are 14 consonants, 10 vowels, then we combine 5 double consonants and 11 diphthongs. And I know exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking, 그러나 diphthong이란 무엇입니까? And I'm here to tell you what it means. According to Webster's dictionary, the definition of a diphthong is a gliding speech sound, such as the vowel combination at the end of toy, that starts at or near the articulatory position for one vowel and moves to or toward the position of another. Basically, it's using 2 vowels to create an entirely different sound. First in line in the alphabet, we have this G/K character. And if you think about the way your mouth is going to be shaped, it's a velar shape, which means your throat is going to be kind of closed and your tongue is going to be dropped to the back of your mouth. So it's called a gyok, that's the name of the letter, and it is a balanced mixture sound between the letters G and K in the English alphabet. Gyok, gyok. You're going to make this sound with the back of your throat closed and your tongue dropped back there as well. Gyok. The next letter is N or Nian. Nian. It is an alveolar, meaning the tip of your tongue will be at the roof of your mouth and the back of your throat will be slightly more open. Nian. This is the D or digut. It is actually part of the alveolar family because when you make the D in Korean, you put your tongue to the roof of your mouth and that's how you pronounce it. Digut. I would like to introduce you to the hardest letter I ever tried to pronounce in the Korean alphabet. It's a difficult letter to explain. It's also a difficult letter to get the gist of. So this is called a liul. And this sound is very strange and is going to be very foreign to you, and it takes a long time to get used to it. So liul starts with an R and ends with an L. So you're going to start with making the R sound like and then you're going to put an L on the end. So it'll be ul. And this is an alveolar, which means the last of the sound is going to be a tongue tip to the roof of your mouth. Practice it long and hard, and I promise you will get the hang of it. The next letter in the Korean alphabet is an M. It is represented by a square, and that square is actually the pictorial representation of how the mouth should be shaped. This sound is bilabial, which means that the lips must meet to make this sound, and it is called mium. Now, I would like to say that sometimes this letter might sound like a B according to who is saying it, and that's okay. Both are proper, and it usually just denotes saturi, which is an accent, or it could denote just the flow of a dialect. But it can be mium. Some people might say mium, which is like a soft B. Sometimes when I say what's going on, I say 뭐예요. And that word actually starts with an M, but because of my saturi, it comes off as a B. Mium. The next letter in the alphabet is going to be a B. Now, this is one of those perfect balance sounds between a B and a P, and this is called biu, biu. And this sound is also a bilabial, which means your lips must meet to make the sound. And sometimes this can sound like a P and sometimes even an M. However, that's often determined by the location of the letter within the syllable block, and that will be something that we cover in a much later lesson when we talk about rules and grammar and syntax and things of that. So this is the B/P, and it is called Byu. The next letter in the Korean alphabet is the S, and this is called the Shiot. This is also a dental sound, which means you must talk from behind your teeth. S, Shiot. Now, there will be some rules that go to this letter, but we, like I said, will cover that at a much later date during a rule, grammar, and syntax video. Shiot. Don't wear your quarantine socks off, boys and girls, because we are almost completely through the consonant section of the alphabet. Now, I've already explained this ridiculous letter over in another video. It is a bit of a conundrum. In one position, it is considered a consonant placeholder and has no sound. In another position, particularly at the bottom of a syllable block, it has the NG sound that you would use at the end of a word. It is considered a glottal, which means mouth open, airy sound, but the sound is coming from a closed throat. This is also called a glottal plosive. And if you can't be bothered to watch my own video to learn the rule for this, then I will gladly explain it again when we go over grammar and rules and syntax. The next letter we have is the G. This is like an S with a little line on top of it, and it's called a jiut. Jiut. And this is also a dental sound made from behind the teeth. Jiut. Jiut. Now, if you notice, I'm still not pronouncing that last T very hard. Jiut, because when you make a T sound, the tongue actually goes to the roof of your mouth, and the power does not rely on the air going through the teeth like it does in English. Jiut. The next letter we have is the CH sound. Now, I would like to point out that the font on this Hangul is just normal computer font, but if you were writing it, instead of that little line that goes above the horizontal line, you would actually draw a smaller horizontal line kind of centered on the bigger one. So this is the CH sound, and it's called chut, chut. And it's very important to distinguish between your J sound and your CH sound because there are a few words that do rely on you pronouncing that letter correctly. Chut, chut. This is also a dental sound. It's made from behind the teeth. And now you know the CH sound. Chut. The next sound that we have on the list is K. It is a hard K. It's called Q. And this is a velar sound. It means it's made from the back of the throat, which is tightened and closed. Q. Q. The next letter in the alphabet is the T, which, yes, it is just basically a capital E in English. But this is actually an alveolar sound because you touch the tongue to the roof of your mouth when you pronounce the Korean T. We do it through the teeth, they do it a completely different way. So if you take my name Tiffany and you put it into Korean, it's Tiffany. Tiffany. So it's more of the tongue right at the roof of the mouth behind the teeth to create the T sound in Korean, which is tiut, tiut. Once again, I'll give you the example of Tiffany in English, and in Korean, my name is pronounced Tiffany. Tiffany. You are almost there. This is the next to the last consonant, and it is the letter P, which is called pew. Pew. This is a bilabial. Once again, it means your lips must meet in order to make this sound. And here is a fun remembering tactic. This is in the same shape, remotely in the same shape as pi or 3.14. And since pi begins with P, this is exactly how I remembered this letter. P. P. 여러분 축하합니다. Congratulations, you've made it to the last consonant in the Korean alphabet, and that letter is H. That letter is labeled as hyut, and it is a glottal sound, which means it comes from a mouth wide open but a throat closed, and with force into that sound. So, hyut, hyut. And that is the last letter of the Korean alphabet. However, I would like to point out that this is a letter on the screen that is still using a computer font, where instead of putting a small horizontal line over the larger horizontal line, they use a vertical line. So if you're learning to read through the computer, make sure that you're always aware of that font. And I hope you guys had a lot of fun learning the consonants in the alphabet. 여러분, 안녕! 감사합니다.